How we doing, everybody? We are here to talk about The Flash. So let me just tell you, let's start out with, so I'm going to do this non-spoiler in the beginning, and then I'll let you know, because there's a couple of spoilers I want to talk about. But for the most part, it's going to be non-spoiler review. I was dead set against seeing this movie. Okay, I want to tell you that right off the bat. I was dead set against it. I do not like Ezra Miller. This was before all this stuff with him happened. So it's not judging on the fact that he's a crazy freak. The other side of the coin is I think he's incredibly annoying actor. I just think he's an annoying actor. His voice grates on me. Watching him in Justice League was torture about how annoying he was in there. You know, he didn't play Barry Allen as far as I'm concerned. Barry Allen doesn't act like that. And, you know, and as much as, I liked Grant Gustin in the beginning, but by the end, I was pretty much over him too. But, so I was dead at getting it. But if nothing else was, the fact that nothing else opened this weekend is the only reason I went. I wanted to do a video, but nothing else opened for me to go see. I wasn't going to see Elemental. That's the last thing I wanted to see. So I'm like, all right, maybe I can sit. I made a deal with myself that if he got too annoying, I was just going to walk out. You know, I tried, you know, so, but I'm a huge fan of Keaton. I have no idea who Sarah Calley is. Not a clue. I was going to at least give her a shot. And then, of course, we have Michael Shannon in there, and I knew we had Ben Affleck. So, yeah, let's give it a shot. So I did it, and then I went and tried to get a ticket last night for today, a day ahead of time. They were all full, man. The only reason I even got a ticket was because I was by myself, and there was a seat in the back that was open. Other than that, it was the theater I was going to, the time I needed was pretty much full. So, so I went in there with a closed mind. Okay, so I already had a closed mind about what I was going to see. Thankfully, I was wrong. And I'm a man enough to say it. I was wrong. Okay? I enjoyed the fuck out of this movie. I love this thing. And I didn't love it because of Ezra Miller. It's kind of like with Aquaman. All right? I loved it despite the main actor. So it's almost exactly like Aquaman. I hate Momoa in that character, but I love the rest of the movie. I hate Ezra Miller in this movie, but I like the rest of the movie. And the great thing is that this guy, Andy Muschietti, who directed, who is a first-time director as far as what I could tell. He's an executive producer on Lock and Key from Netflix, which is also a comic book movie, by the way, a comic book show, by the way. And I think it's IDW. And then on top of that, he is a writer. I think he wrote It and stuff to that effect, and Mama, some other stuff. So he's mostly a writer, not a director. He got the character, which is the same thing that James Wan did with Aquaman. He got it. He understood characters that didn't kill. He understood the basic morality of the characters, which is something that Snyder never did. And that's the biggest problem with the Snyder stuff, is he never understood the characters that didn't kill. He wanted to make another Watchmen, which is why his Superman all the way to Justice League was so bad. Because he just didn't understand morality. This absolutely does. This is based on a comic book, graphic novel by Jeff Johns, whereby the reason for the Flash's being, not the reason for it, but I guess it is in a sense, because he became a forensic scientist because he was trying to clear his father. because his father was blamed for his mother's death. And I'm pretty sure that he walked in when his mother was dead. So that how traumatic is that for a young child? So it's almost like, so that's why him and Bruce Wayne have a little bit of a shared trauma, I guess. So, they kind of exist together. They have that, even though Batman is more stoic and more internalized, and Barry, willed himself out of that to have a family of his own. So that's the difference between them, is that Batman stayed stoic and Barry didn't. But that's what made the whole jokey side of Barry not work. So, and here they addressed it. I was very, very happy how it was addressed. Wow, the director really, really got it. So they had a couple of writers on this. Christina Hodson. And I'm not sure what else she's written in the past, but she took Jeff Johns' work. She wrote Oh my gosh, she wrote Birds of Prey. Let's leave that out. Thank God she didn't go down that road. But she did write Bumblebee, and everybody loves Bumblebee, and I like Bumblebee too. So let's forget that she ever touched Birds of Prey. But right from the beginning, it hooks you. Right in the beginning, if you're a DC superhero fan, right in the beginning, you're hooked. Right in the beginning. They start with an action scene. He's got to save people, all this stuff, and we have humor in there because he's stuck in a situation that's just bad. Just bad. And from there, he realizes, and this is all in Jeff Johns' Flashpoint book, which also they made I just recently rewatched it. They did a cartoon version that was very, very faithful to the comic. So in the comics, so here's the basic storyline. And, it's based on a storyline of the movie, which you can also see from the trailer and from the comic and from the cartoon. That Barry realizes, well, in the comic and the cartoon, he goes back almost accidentally. He goes back in time. Here he figures out that he can do it and how to do it and how he can do it without messing anything up. So he has made a conscious decision, and he feels that he can do it without messing anything up. And of course he's wrong. Of course he is wrong, or else he wouldn't have a movie. So when he goes back, of course he changes everything. So, and this is from the comic. This is not in the movie. So let me just, so I could, you can kind of understand when you see the movie what the different motivations are, okay, and how they changed out some of the characters. So when he goes back, he loses his powers because there's no metahumans at all. Now that he changed things, there's no metahumans in the world he created, okay, or the world he reset by saving his mother. Okay, so he's successful in saving his mother, but he messes up the rest of the world by doing it. And they did this in the Flash TV show too, but not nearly as well. Just storyline wise, but that's about the extent of it. So by him doing that, Batman is the only superhero left, but he doesn't have any power, so there's no metahumans. So there's no Superman, there's no nothing, right? So there's no Justice League at all. So he tracks down Batman, and he finds out that it's Thomas Wayne, not Bruce Wayne. That Bruce was killed in the alley instead of his parents. So his father becomes Batman, but he becomes a killer Batman. So he's carrying guns instead of having the morality that Batman has with his no killing policy. He kills everybody. He's kind of like the Punisher Batman. And his mom becomes the Joker. Again, none of this is in the movie. I wish it was. That's why I kind of wish that they had Keaton in there, but as Thomas Wayne instead of Bruce Wayne. That's what I wish. So anyway, but at this point in time also, Atlantis and Themyscira are at war. Okay, because Aquaman had an affair with Wonder Woman. Mera got pissed and attacked Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman cut her head off. She's like, I'm having none of this girl fight. You done, baby. And cuts her head off and takes her crown. So Aquaman goes to war with Themyscira, and the surface world is basically fodder. So here, instead of any of that, we have Zod. Okay, and then they find Superman, and then the Superman helps save the day. And of course, there is no Superman in this one. As you know, we have Supergirl instead. But it does follow some of those beats. But for the most part, most of what I just said in the comic is not in the movie. So anyway, we start out with that bang. Barry decides that he knows how to do this. He goes back in time, and then everything goes to hell. So then, as you saw in the trailer, we have two Barrys, one that lost his mother and one that didn't, right? Because he went back and changed time. So, and again, this is all in the trailer. I'm not really spoiling anything. So the annoying one is the one that didn't lose his mother, which makes total sense because the Ezra Miller that did lose his mother is more stoic. He's more internalized, and though he's a little jokey, he's not to the extent that we had in Justice League. Nothing. He's way more reserved, and boy, did I appreciate the hell out of that. Thank God, or else I probably would have. And he even tells off the other Barry, saying, "You talk way too much, man." So I like that juxtaposition. Really good stuff. And then we have Keaton arrives on the scene. And boy, does he steal his scenes. Oh, my God. So, again, I wish he was playing Thomas Wayne instead of Bruce Wayne. But, again, nitpicky stuff. And all the action in there. And then we have Supergirl come in. And she, of course, doesn't trust anybody. Because, she hasn't been a superhero this whole time. She doesn't really know any of them. She's been in solitary. As you saw in the trailer, she has like a gown on. So there's all this juxtaposition of characters, very similar to what we had in the Flashpoint comic book. So really, really good stuff. And then we have the whole ending, and as you probably know, there's a whole bunch of little cameos, peppered throughout. I'm not going to go into who it is or anything like that. I might go into that in the spoiler section. And just the costume actually looked good for the most part. I know everybody. Here's the thing that everybody's going to talk about: the CG is crap. Okay, not all the CG is crap. Don't say it's like crap all the way through. It's not. It's not Transformers level for sure. Is it crap at times? Yeah. Yeah, it's crap at times. However, and which being a $200 million, I agree with everybody. Being in a $200 million movie, how do you have crap effects? Somebody dropped the ball somewhere. In fact, as the VFX writer comes up, or the effects artist comes up on the thing, and I'm surprised we didn't get any booze on that. I'm surprised that he didn't go back and fix some stuff just for free, just because his name was going to be all over this. So, does the bad effects ruin the movie? No. Because you're so enthralled with what's happening that the effects don't even matter. They don't even matter because it's unpredictable about what's going to happen. So even with me reading, of course, it's all going to turn out in the end, but it's how that turns out in the end. And since it deflected from the comics, I didn't even know how it was going to all play out. I was happy with it. I think that the morality inside of it, nothing we've really seen before in a time travel type of story. But I thought that they did a good job with taking what we've seen before and putting it into an arc for the character. So that I got to give, Christina Hodson there, a prop. Again, forgetting the fact that she did the disgusting thing that was Birds of Prey. But when I heard Jeremy Irons' voice, I was like, wow. And I see Ben Affleck in there, as you know from the day, and he's in the blue Batman costume. I'm like, oh my god, this is great. Ron Livingston's in it, plays the dad. I haven't seen him in forever in a movie. I'm not gonna go into any of the. All you have to do is go on IMDb and you can see all of the cameos, which I'm not going to say. But yeah, so just I in fact I usually don't even do these kind of reviews this right after seeing it, but I was so excited, and that's what I miss about going to the movies is the excitement when you leave. And this had me excited. In fact, when I finished watching it, I walked into another theater, and of course it was full. I didn't actually sit down, and I watched another 15 minutes up towards close to the end, and watched it again. 15, 20 minutes of it. So this one has complete rewatchability. I'd go see it again. So many good little Easter eggs, so many great action scenes. All the Zod stuff, all the the Kryptonian stuff, the use of Flash's powers, all this stuff. Really, really good. Really, really good stuff. They really put thought into it. And that's what I'm saying is that this guy, he understood. He understood what he was going for. He understood the character. He understood the character's powers. He understood how to make all of these characters work in tandem, how to make them have a difference of opinion on certain things and still come together in the end, and where it didn't feel forced. And then I walked into all the other theaters. So I usually do that. I see what's playing. I see how full everything is. And I can tell you that I didn't see Little Mermaid in one theater. I didn't see it in not one theater. So I don't think that's going to be playing much longer. And if it is, it's playing in the back of the house somewhere. But the Flash was playing in 5 theaters. 5 theaters on Thursday night from 6 to 11 o'clock, which is why I'm recording this now. And every single one of them was full. Except for the very front row, everything was full. Every single showing was full. So when they're saying this thing's only going to make $60 million, I got to disagree. I got to disagree with those numbers. We'll see how wrong I am. But I can't imagine this thing being below 80 or 90 million. Not with I don't know how all the other states are going to be. And I don't know who's going to be boycotting it based on Ezra Miller, which is, I was in that boat. But I'm glad. I'm glad I was wrong. I love when I'm wrong. I really do. And I had such a good time. And I was like, wow, this is definitely a comic book come to life. And I gotta, the writer and the director, I got to give them props because they kept it was 2.5 hours and boom, 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 boom. There was nothing, no dead weight in there. No dead weight except for one thing. And it's Iris West. So Iris West, I looked her up, and she's done, her name is Kiersey Clemens. And she's got some credits behind her. She's been acting for like 13 years. She's been in a ton of stuff. Maybe she just didn't have anything to work with. She played Iris West in Justice League, in which I guess they did a reshoot of it where she was in it with Snyder. But she didn't fit. It felt like she was stuck in there because you could have removed her completely and it would not have mattered. And there was absolutely no chemistry between her and Barry. Like, you watch the CW show with Iris and Barry and that, and right off the bat, those two had chemistry. Right off the bat. And you believe their relationship. Here, you don't believe any of it. If they had removed her, it probably would have been better for the movie. Because every time she was on screen, you're like, yeah, I'm not buying this. Just not buying it. And maybe it's because Ezra Miller is, we know that he's gay or whatever, and, not into it. And his high voice doesn't really come off as masculine. But, the Iris West thing just didn't work. So every time she was on the screen, I'm like, get off the screen. Just go. You're not making a scene work at all. And I wonder if they were sitting there watching it, saying, "Yeah, just give me a couple of takes and let's move on," because it just didn't work. The mom, I thought all the stuff with the mom worked. It's the first time we've seen Nora Allen as Spanish. It's fine, not a problem. Even though they had her making the best spaghetti in the world, which is technically an Italian thing, they should have had her making friggin' burritos. I don't know. But I'm like, originally I thought she was Italian. Wait, she makes the best spaghetti, yeah, And then she starts doing Spanish though, and I'm like, oh, okay. It doesn't quite fit either. But the jokes all landed in this. I didn't feel cringe. That's the biggest thing. I didn't feel cringe. Did not feel cringe like I did in the Justice League. And because every time he was on screen in Justice League, I was like, ugh. No, it's not working. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. But let me do it. I'm going to give this thing a fucking 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. I don't give 10s out of 10s unless it's a perfect film. This is far from perfect. But it's enjoyable. It's fun. It's a comic book come to life. It's Batman and Flash together. We get to see some Justice League stuff. We get to see a very, very personal journey for a character. And if you don't get teary-eyed at least at one scene of it, something wrong with you. So they were able to pull out a very, very human story out of this, along with adding Easter eggs all over the place and giving us a superhero film. Again, what else can you ask for? So go see it, go support it, because James Gunn's got a big problem ahead of him. As anything goes, especially after Shazam failing completely, I'm sure they're thinking in the back, well, can we even make this DC thing work? And I think in the back of their head also saying, well, if we can't make this Flash film work that's really good, then what are we doing? And I don't want them to get that in the back of their head. So let's make this thing work for James Gunn, and let's get Ezra Miller out of there, because I got to say this, and as I said this before, that it worked in despite of Ezra Miller, or despite of him. So if we can get another Flash in there that's better, then it probably would have gone to a 9 out of 10 for me if I had a better actor. I can't say better actor. It wasn't like he couldn't act. It's the fact that he doesn't embody Barry Allen. That's the problem. So, and of course, then he's got all the baggage that goes with it. So let's get somebody else in there as the Flash, and then let's do stuff like this. And I think we can, DC can definitely rival or beat Marvel at this point, because Marvel's on the downswing. So anyway, let's talk about spoilers real quick. So turn me off if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it, definitely turn me off, because I always want to talk about a couple little things. And definitely subscribe to my channel. I really want to grow it. So share it, like it, give me the thumbs up, whatever. Tell me to go in the comments. Tell me to go fuck myself, whatever. Love it. Tell me whatever. But let's help my channel grow. I'd like to do more videos. We do movie reviews, comic reviews, and board game playthroughs, which I didn't do on last week, but and that's because I was shooting this week with Tim Russ, who is Tuvok on Voyager. I was shooting with him this week, so I kind of wasn't able to do a board game. But anyway, so that's the story there. And also, my Kickstarter ended, but let me know if you guys want any Destorora stuff. You can DM me in Facebook, or my Tales from Iron Witch, Tales of Revenant of the Iron Witch. Hardcovers are in, so check that out. They're on Amazon right now. The hardcovers don't look like that on Amazon. that's through Ingram Sparks. But anyway, so let me talk about spoilers real quick. And so cut me off right now. I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You've been warned that we're going into spoilers. So, yeah, I just want to talk about some of the spoilers real quick. So I of course, if we had gotten the Thomas Wayne Batman, then we would have been able to get the Joker, like the female Joker with that. I like the fact that, again, I've never seen Sarah Calley in anything. That's because she's only been like in Young and Restless, and that's it. But I like the fact that Zod killed Kal-El as a baby, and he didn't have what he was looking for. I like that a lot, and that fueled the rage. But by not having Thomas Wayne in there was nothing personal for Michael Keaton to get involved. He only got involved just because he was feeling his age. In fact, I love that scene where he's looking in the mirror and after he sewed himself up and said to himself, basically, like, I finally recognize myself again. He showed that in his face, and boy, was that perfect. Boy, was that perfect. And a no dialogue, that makes a good director. If you can have a scene with no dialogue and communicate that perfectly, that's a good director, and that's a good director relying on the ability of his actor, which is hard to find because a lot of this stuff is so on the nose. And then, of course, we got to see Christopher Reeve and Helen Slater together. Yes, it was bad CGI, but just to see that was perfect. And seeing George Reeve, and then, of course, we got Nick Cage, who was probably never going to look like that as a Superman, but outside of CG. But that was good, too. We got I wish we had seen more of Adam West. I wish we had seen some of the other Batman stuff, like, seeing some of the Dark Knight stuff would have been cool in there. I don't know why they didn't put some of that in there, but they relied more on the Superman stuff, I think, than the Batman stuff. But, and then we were seeing all that stuff. I really liked, I knew it once, of course, we see the main villain and we know that that's the old Barry. So, of course, because they're in that bubble, are they outside of all? They're not, because he basically killed himself, right? But because the other Barry was on a different timeline, he didn't die. See, there's kind of a little error in there how that works. So, I can nitpick little things here and there, but for the most part, it was pretty solid. But let me know what you guys think about all the cameos. Did you like them? Would you have wanted to see something else? Were you surprised by them? I was surprised by a couple of them. And, especially seeing it, you can hear about it, but seeing it is a whole different thing. I didn't know Helen Slater was in it, and seeing them side by side, even with that bad CGI, thumbs up, man. And the fact that, we saw this before in the Time Machine with Guy Pearce. Same thing. He kept trying to save his wife over and over and over again and kept failing. It's exactly the same thing. And the other Barry kept coming in and saying, are you just going to stand here? And he's like, it's futile. I already know it's futile. And I don't know what you're doing. And he wasted his entire life. I guess he never had to go to the bathroom or eat or anything. Because he stayed in that loop until he was older. Very interesting. And I like how they made all the different colors. In fact, I originally thought the green planet was Oa, which is Green Lantern planet. But seeing them literally collide, I don't know how they were. I don't understand the whole leveling of that stratification of the planets, but whatever. Anyway, I don't want to talk too long about this. I'm already on a half hour. I loved it. I will probably see it again, and let me know what you guys think. And remember, again, like, subscribe, the whole bit for me. Help me out, guys. All right, and let me know what you guys think. And 30 minutes I've been talking about this film, and I could probably keep going. All right, but I'm going to stop there. I'm going to stop with the big whole Frank chatter. All right. Have a good one, guys. And thank you so much again for supporting. Bye-bye.